Yo everybody, what's up? It's me, Fitness65. I'm back again making another video. Now, I'm sorry for not making videos like most of the time. It's just like I just want to take breaks most of the time, so just forgive me for not making videos all like I usually do. But today I'm bringing you a new video. This is just gonna be different from any other video that I did. Different from any other video I do, because I usually just talk about wrestling and do reviews and stuff like that and give you my thoughts about wrestling and whatever and whatnot. But today this is just gonna be a RIP video about Kanyon, like RIP Chris Kanyon. Chris Kanyon, for some of you who don't know, passed away I believe last week or 2 weeks ago, either last week or the week before last week. And I just wanted to give my quick thoughts and just my condolences to his family and friends and everybody who was around him, because this was just a very good wrestler, a very good guy outside of the ring. Even though he had his problems and he was going through some personal problems, the guy was still a very nice guy. He was a very good wrestler in the ring. I remember when he came into WCW. I believe he wrestled another promotion before he came to WCW, but I believe when he came to WCW, that's when I first got a look at him, but I didn't know who he was, like who he actually was. And then I found out he was the guy that was Mortis, and man, was Mortis a pretty badass character. I mean, the guy had some of the most innovative moves that I ever seen any wrestler have. The guy pulled out moves that most wrestlers back then really weren't doing. I mean, he was just wowing me every time I saw him in the ring, and to think that this was Kanyon just made me even more shocked to even know that that was Kanyon that was actually doing that stuff in that mask and who was playing Mortis. And I was just pretty impressed with Kanyon. And then I was pretty impressed with Mortis, and I thought the Mortis character was gonna go somewhere, but then they scraped the Mortis character when I forgot why they scraped it, but they got rid of the Mortis character, and then they decided to go with Kanyon, sort of like how the Sting character was, with Sting attacking the NWO. They had Kanyon coming and attacking Raven's flock and stuff like that, and it led to a really good angle with him going up against the flock for the flock not wanting him to join. And it was just a pretty hot angle around 1998, probably one of the most underrated angles and one of the most underrated feuds in WCW around that time. And he was just going through flock member after flock member, and then up until he finally got his hands on Raven, and that set up a couple matches between those two, and then even a triple threat. Well, most of them were triple threat matches with him, Perry Saturn, and Raven, and then a one-on-one matchup between him and Raven, which were pretty good underrated matches and good underrated feuds. And it was I was pretty much hooked on Kanyon, and he was one of my favorite wrestlers in WCW because he went out there, he just put on one of the damnedest good matches that he can possibly put on, and he was just a very good wrestler, and he just knew what he was doing, and he had one of the most unique offenses in the wrestling business. And then I remember when he turned heel and joined Raven's flock, and then he started doing that who's better than Kanyon type of thing. He would always come out to the ring and tell the crowd who was better than Kanyon, and everybody would go no one, and he would do that all the time when he came to the ring, and I just would laugh. I just liked heel Kanyon. I thought he was pretty funny as a heel, and I just feel the guy should have got a real big push in WCW, but politics, and you pretty much already know why guys like him weren't getting pushed, mostly because of politics, and they were getting their buddies pushed around, or guys were clinging to their spot and they didn't want other guys getting up on the top. And I felt that Kanyon should have been one of those guys on there that should have got a bigger push than what he got. And he should have been US champion, even though he was US champion in WWE, and he should have been like world heavyweight champion or some kind of champion. Even though he was kind of a tag team champion, he still could have had some kind of a singles title run, but WCW decided not to give him that type of run. And then I remember when he was tag team champions with Raven, which was a pretty good tag team, well, along with Perry Saturn, and I thought that was a pretty good thing going on. And then he ended up turning on him, and then he had that Chris Kanyon gimmick, which was pretty funny, where he would come to the ring with champagne and a bunch of girls. And although it was copying the Godfather's gimmick in the WWE, I just thought it was kind of funny seeing Kanyon come out and calling himself Chris Champagne. And then I remember when he joined the Jersey Triad, or whatever that group was, with DDP and Bam Bam Bigelow. I thought that was one of the most badass stables in WCW, one of the most underrated WCW stables, as you had Bam Bam Bigelow, who was the powerhouse of the group, you had DDP, who was the brains of the group and the former world heavyweight champion, and then you had Kanyon with the unique offense. And I just thought those guys, all three of those guys, just worked together as one of the most badass heels in WCW. It's a shame that they didn't get pushed bigger than what they got in WCW. Like, again, other guys were getting pushed and they were focusing on the Wolfpack and other guys like that, but these guys should have been more focused on in WCW. And then I remember after that, he joined the New Blood. Well, he was friends with DDP, and then he turned on DDP. And then I remember him getting thrown off that thing. I forgot what that thing was, like that cage or whatever pay-per-view that was. I thought that was pretty nasty, and they ran an angle with him and DDP being friends all off of that. And then I remember him turning heel on DDP and then joining the New Blood and then calling himself Positively Kanyon and cutting funny promos about putting people in the diamond cutter and what he's gonna do to them. I just thought he was a pretty good heel, and again, he should have got a bigger push than what he got in WCW. Even around that time when they were starting to push young guys, this guy should have been pushed even more, like where the other talent was, over guys like Buff Bagwell and other non-talented guys. This guy should have got that type of push, but again, he didn't get pushed and he got looked past. And then I remember him being in WWE and doing that who's better than Kanyon thing and always getting beat up, but he would always put on good matches, but he would just never get that type of run. And I felt WWE dropped the ball on this guy. This guy could have been a world heavyweight champion or something like that, because this guy was just way too good to be passed on. But it's a shame for a guy who had a pretty promising career and who never got the big push, and who always helped young guys get ready for the wrestling business or train young guys. And I even heard that he trained Jay Leno for Jay Leno's matchup with DDP against Hollywood Hogan and Eric Bischoff. It's a shame a guy who trained Jay Leno and who helped other guys in the wrestling business and was just a very nice guy in the backstage never got the push that he should have got. And it's a shame that his life ended the way it did, with him taking his own life because of the condition that he was in and then battling depression and stuff like that. It's a shame that he had to go through all that, but still, we can remember this guy for being one of the most innovative wrestlers in the wrestling business, doing moves that many people never expected him to do, being a part of Hot Angles and some good stables around that time, and cutting some funny promos, and just being the guy that was just a very good wrestler and who had the total package. But most wrestling companies never gave this guy a chance. So my thoughts and prayers go out to his family, his friends, and everybody who knew this guy. R.I.P. Chris Kanyon. You were probably one of my favorite wrestlers in WCW, and now you're in a better place with some of the other people who were pretty nice people and who didn't deserve to die or have what happened to them. You're up there on the elite with all those people. So hopefully you are at peace up there in heaven, and that you got away from what you were battling and you're now at peace, and now that nothing could hurt you anymore. So R.I.P. to you, R.I.P. to you, and my thoughts and prayers go out to your family and friends and everybody who knew you, because like I said, you were just a very nice guy, and it's a shame your life ended the way it did. But yeah, that's just pretty much my video. Since there's most people talking about his death, I thought I'd just bring a video just giving my prayers and thoughts to him, his family and friends, and just doing an RIP video on Chris Kanyon. Hopefully you liked the video. You can rate, comment, or give a thumbs up, because now YouTube is starting to do that. Or just give me your thoughts about Chris Kanyon and what you loved about him, and what angles you loved that you loved him in, and or if you loved him as Mortis or anything like that, or his promos. Let me know about that at the bottom. Give me your thoughts, and until then, Fitness 65 out. I'm out. Peace.